Hey everyone, welcome back to the Abom79 podcast. I'm your host, Adam Booth.
And your co-host, Abby Booth.
We're excited to share with you some more information today. A little bit going on that's happened around the shop this week. We're going to talk about some new machines, some machinery moving, and a little update on the drill indexes.
I was so excited when the machines got there. I mean, we've been waiting. We
Yep.
have been waiting, and I've been so excited for so long.
Yes, it's been kind of a long year because we made the deal on the two new Milltronics machines several months ago. So I think it was back around maybe February, March timeframe is when we were talking about the two different model machines that we were interested in, and then they got them into production, and it just it ended up taking a little bit longer than what we expected. But not in a bad way.
No, Miltronics has been incredible to work with. Incredible.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's actually, it was great to hear that they've been really busy. You know, you want to see these companies that you work with succeed and do well and sell their product. You know, hopefully we're going to get to do the same thing pretty soon too. But anyway, there was a few delays on our machines, and then they finally got them ready, and we got the notification a couple weeks ago. They got an email about your machines are getting ready to be put on the skid and wrapped up and ready to ship down there to Pensacola. So that was exciting to get that email from my buddy Don at Miltronics, Don Hammer. He's pretty cool. Been there a long time, and him and Ryan and Steve have been like my go-to contacts there at Miltronics, and they have just been so great to work with. Such a great company, really.
I love it when Steve comes to the shop.
Yeah.
He's so knowledgeable. It's unbelievable. So
Steve is, we're talking about Steve Sherman with Miltronics. He is so knowledgeable with not only just the Miltronics machines, but like G-code. You know, he knows the old school G-code. He understands the software on how to write programs on a machine. So Miltronics is known for their conversational programming that they build into their controller. So every Miltronics machine comes with conversational programming. So you don't have to use a CAD software in order to use a Miltronics. You can go directly to the machine and walk through the steps that it's asking you to create your part, put your dimensions, your geometry on there that you want, and you can machine a part. And that's one of the things that always fascinates me with Steve, is how good he is. But he's been doing it for a long time. You know, he's been in this industry for a long time, and that's what it takes to get really, really good and knowledgeable at what you do at your craft. You know,
we definitely are going to have him on the podcast if he'll do it, because I want to just pick his brain.
Yes, exactly. And so Miltronics did show interest in maybe joining us on a podcast. So we definitely would like to invite them on, have them on an episode, and have them talk to us about our experiences with Miltronics, and just talk about CNC machining.
And also
honestly.
their start, you know, how they got into it, which I'm always fascinated by.
Yeah, that would be great. So we're looking forward to that. And so Abby has been kind of doing her research in the background and learning more about podcast software that you use for podcast, equipment that you use for podcast. And it seems like it's an ever evolving thing, is, you know, the software that you use. There's lots of different apps now that you can purchase and download and use. So you've been doing a little research on your end so that we can hopefully merge into something where we're not necessarily using our camera and our Rode mic here. Maybe it's a little different level.
A little bit more of an interview type of situation. That's kind of where we wanted this to go anyway. I mean, I love our conversations, and I've really enjoyed that, and we're going to throw those in there. But anybody that we can talk to, I just gives people more knowledge, gives us more knowledge. I love it. I look forward to that. So that's something that will be coming soon.
Yeah, me too. We've got some of our friends in the industry that we would love to have on our podcast and talk to and have conversations with.
But we wanted to feel comfortable about what we were doing, and you know, we've learned a lot. So let's just keep going.
I just want to say, Abby has been working very hard behind the scenes trying to get these podcasts edited. And it may not seem like it's a lot of work to put these videos together, to put these podcasts together, but it is. And I think that Abby has discovered that when we're talking to our audience like we are right now, it's very helpful to have some extra video content showing these things that we're referring to in the podcast. And so she's been kind of going above and beyond, trying to pull these items to the side. And while she's editing the podcast, she realizes, why don't we get some video of these different things to throw in there so that you can see. So I think the podcast on the video side, the YouTube video side, has really evolved into a really great video, because it's including a lot of information and close-ups. Like the last episode, we showed some of these books and catalogs, and showing those close-up videos of it, I think, is very helpful. And I think ultimately the viewer really appreciates that too. You have some other info that's going on, maybe some other video of the machine that's going on as we're discussing these things. And so now if you're listening to it, obviously you're not seeing this info, but we really do encourage our audience to try the video side of the podcast, because you're going to get to see things that you don't get to see when you're just listening to it. But you don't have to watch it. You can still just put on your headphones and listen to it while you're doing your work. But I just want everybody to know that Abby has been working very hard at these podcasts, and I think every episode she's learning more and more.
I get better every time. I mean, it is a lot to learn, and I've really enjoyed it. I'm getting better at making videos, and I am a visual learner, and if I'm learning all these things, and a lot of things are really starting to make sense for me. But that's another one of the reasons why I wanted to put it in there, especially when we talk about the old things and your collections, your tap wrench collection and everything like that. So I'm going to do my best to show as much as I can, so you're not just staring at our faces.
Abby's also learning as we're recording these podcasts too, because when we're talking about these tools and the tools in the catalogs and the terminology that's used, what these tools are called, what the processes are called, she's learning a lot about this.
My questions are getting better because I'm learning more and more. I loved the threading. It took a little time for me to, okay, that makes sense now. And then this morning I was grilling him at breakfast
We have been talking about threading for a week now.
We have.
I mean, we talk about it off camera too, because I try to teach Abby some of this stuff, even though we're not at the machine. I'm trying to get her to, just have a little better understanding. And then we also talk about it off camera just because of the differerences in the different styles and the kickback that I've mentioned that I get in some of the videos about that. So her and I, we were sitting at breakfast this morning. We went and had a bagel and a coffee, and I was talking to Abby again, about the two different main processes on the lathe, and saying, like, I just don't understand why people give me such a hard time about a specific process, but it's all good.
I understand where people are coming from in the being true to what you've learned. Mm-hmm. So I understand that. I think I'm understanding it even more now, and the comments are getting more, I don't know, they make more sense to me now, and I'm able to answer more things. And obviously I ask you, and you help me answer things. But anyway, it's been great. My brain is full of machining right now. So
yeah, you're jumping, feet first into all of this.
So let's get back to our new machines, because we're really excited about this.
Yes. All right. So this week we finally took delivery of our two new Miltronics machines. So excited for it. So we have a VM3018 CNC mill, and we also have an SL8 CNC lathe. This is a slant bed lathe. And we haven't, they're not hooked up yet. That's going to be coming up this coming week after this podcast. But we did receive them, and I got to say, everything went well.
It really did.
They actually arrived a little earlier than I expected. I actually thought that we were going to be getting them next week. And they were ready about a week ahead of time. We got that email about they were getting wrapped up, and then they were going to start working on getting a truck lined up to get them. And then, of course, they had to. So when you have these machines, it's interesting because you have to work with a trucking company that you can hire to put the machines on to do the delivery, but you also have to work with a rigging company also, so that everything is timed accordingly. So that when the truck arrives, there's a crew already there set up ready to go to efficiently get the machines removed from the truck, unloaded and brought into the shop and then get set up. Everything went great. And again, thank you to Miltronics for organizing all this. It was actually Brent at Miltronics that I talked to, and his job is to set all of this up. It's all got to be organized and on a schedule. And it went great. We were in contact the whole time. In fact, within probably 30 minutes after the truck left, the gentleman that runs the trucking company, he had called, and I didn't realize he had called me, but he left a message and just wanted to know how was the delivery? Did everything work well? Was there any issues? And there wasn't. Everything was fine.
That rigging company had those 2 machines off of there lickety split. I mean, it was amazing how quick that was. That was as efficient as we have seen.
Yeah.
In the couple of machines that have been delivered so far. So.
Yeah. So by the time the truck was there, and when the truck was pulling out, was an hour.
Yeah.
That's how quick it went.
Yeah.
But fortunately, both of these machines, the way that the size of the machine and the way they were skidded, were simple enough to pick up with a forklift. All right. So the rigging company that came and did the job for us was Southway Crane and Rigging, and they're located here in Pensacola. Actually, they're right up the street from us, which is convenient. But I have learned that they are part of another company, so they have locations all over the place. In fact, the crew that was here, he was talking about, he goes, yeah, we came down for Atlanta yesterday for this. I'm like, you came down from Atlanta? I thought you were just up the street. He says, well, no, we were at a job in Atlanta. And he goes, what we had to do was we had to drive to Houston to pick up some spreader bars and then deliver them to another job in, I think, Montgomery or Birmingham. I can't remember which one. And then they came down here to Pensacola to do this job. And then as soon as they were finished with our job, they were headed back up to Atlanta to get back on the job that they're on. So it's interesting how these guys are on the road a lot.
Yeah.
Because not every job is in town, it's out of town. But Southway did a fantastic job. And the crew that they sent down to do this is called their specialty rigging crew. All right. And one of the coolest things about this whole job was the Fox Trot.
Agreed. As soon as I saw that baby, I was like, I gotta have that. I want that. Oh, it was so cool.
I have seen.
Explain what it is. Explain what it is.
So a Fox Trot is a machinery skate, and it is a powered machinery skate, and it's operated by a remote control, and so the operator hangs the remote control around their neck, and they can drive this machinery skate, and that eliminates the. You're not having to use human power or a forklift or something like that to move the machine. The Foxtrot is designed to move 40 tons.
I can't believe that. When he said that, my jaw hit the floor. I mean, I was like,
I couldn't
are
believe
you kidding me?
So, first of all, I wanted to say that, I have seen these remote control powered machinery skates. I believe I've seen them in John Saunders' video, Saunders Machine Works. So he's received several machines over the years, and they have a rigging crew there in Ohio that they use. And I remember seeing those machines being moved in with these skates. And I thought, how cool would that be to have something like that to move these machines? That's what they're built for, right?
It was so nimble. Yep. I couldn't believe that. I mean, it's one thing that the load itself, which was over 9,000 pounds,
they
right?
Were both 9,000 pounds.
Yeah, yeah. I was so impressed by it. And the guy knew what he was doing, which is very nice to see. I always break out into a sweat when the rigging companies get there because I need them to be organized. I'd like them to communicate with each other. They did great.
Yeah, I can't say that every job that we've had so far at the new shop has gone ultra smooth, no. But we haven't had any catastrophes or damages or anything like that, but just I don't know. It's like there's been some times where I really needed to just disappear and walk away and come back at the end of the day and watch and let the job just be done instead of standing there watching all this happen and worrying over different things. But this went really well. It went really well. So back to the Fox Trot.
Yeah.
The specialty rigging crew is one of the crew for Southway that has one of these machinery skates in their inventory that they use for their job. So they brought that, and that was the first time that you and I both got to see one in person and get to see it operate and how it works. And it went great.
It did.
So they unloaded the mill and set that right in front of the door because that needed to go in first. And then they unloaded the lathe and set that down off to the side. There was a few more smaller skids on the truck they had to unload. And then the truck was done. He was able to leave. So within an hour, the truck was out of there. And then the crew, what they decided to do was go ahead and lift the machines off of the skid. By the way, all of the Miltronics machines, I'm sure this is the same for many manufacturers, but these machines come in on these very large metal skids. They're bolted down to that. And that allows everything, the machine and all the accessories, to be bolted down, and then the trucker then chains down the skid instead of putting straps and chains over a machine, which you cannot do.
Nope.
It's bolted to the skid. The skid is chained down just like they're supposed to be, and then that's what secures the load on the truck during transport.
That created a lot less anxiety for me, the way that they were created.
Yeah.
And again, I mean, they were easy. I use that lightly. Easy to get them off the truck with the forklift.
Yeah, and by the way, they did bring a 15,000-pound rated forklift with the long forks. I believe they were 8-foot forks, which is what you need for stuff like this because a standard 4-foot fork is not going to work well for unloading a whole machine.
In the past, it's been a crane, and
Yeah.
it was terrifying.
That's what was needed for the. That's what was needed for the flex.
Yeah.
I mean, you can use forklifts for the stuff that was the flex when it came, but you need big forklifts. You needed more area to work in. The crane was the better choice for that particular job. But the crew was able to get under the machine efficiently, lift the machine off the skid. And then they used our forklift, our little baby forklift. They used that one to pull the skid out of the way. And then they lowered it down, and then they lowered it down onto the machinery skates. So back to the Fox Trot. The Fox Trot comes in a kit. It comes in a big old metal box, all the tools and accessories that comes with it. And you can load and unload it with a forklift onto your truck. And so it comes with idler skates as well. So there's a total of 3 machinery skates. The Fox Trot, which is the powered unit, and then it has 2 idler skates. And so you use 3 of them essentially to move a machine. Now I'm sure if you're moving big machines, you're going to have more skates on there to support the load. But for most of the machines that we're talking about, a machining center, a milling machine, a lathe, you can get away with using 3 just fine, and that's ultimately the best way to do it. Which we'll talk about that. We got some notes here notes for some things to discuss in today's episode. And so they lowered it down onto the Fox Trot and the idlers, and then we got to watch them move it into the shop, and it did it so effortlessly, right?
It was amazing.
I was worried where the transition from the ramp outside the door where it meets the actual floor of the shop, there's a very, very tiny transition there, maybe a 1/4 inch or so. And I was like, that can hold something up. And when it got to that, it just rolled right over that and right up into the shop like it was no problem.
I held my breath, but it was fine. Like it didn't even.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, it was great.
It worked great. The other cool thing that I saw them use, and they showed this to me too, is that the Fox Trot comes with these magnetic blocks. And they're like shim blocks, and they all stack together magnetically. So what they did was that they took these blocks and they stuck them to the bottom of the machine in all 4 corners. In the event that the machine tips, or maybe a skate happens to slide out or something like that, the machine tips to one side, those blocks are underneath that to support the load. So it won't let it tip very far. I thought that was pretty cool. That's the first time I've seen those.
Very cool.
Yep.
I did try to price this out. FOXTROT is out of Quebec. I looked that up, and you have to call and get pricing. And I don't like to do that when I'm not necessarily going to buy something. I think that's rude. So I don't have any pricing, but it's a cool thing.
Yeah. It's obviously it's a tool for the trade, you know.
Of
so
course,
if
when you're moving lots of machines.
If you are in the business of moving machines, then obviously that's the machine you want. Just like if you're in the machine shop business, you need to have a mill and a lathe. So it's equipment that's probably very expensive, but you use that as your business, and it's an investment, and it pays for itself.
Well, I was impressed with the efficiency of that thing. I mean, it really is amazing. And then again, the load. It doesn't look. It's not huge. I was expecting it, I think, to be 3 times the size. No, it was kind of a little guy. I mean, and just man, he was.
So they brought the mill in there using the Fox Trot, and and the crewman, he's got it on, and he's got these little joysticks built into the remote there, and it basically works like a tank. You know, each side kind of moves independently. So as you're driving it, you can rotate it left or right. You can pivot the FOXTROT to steer the load the way you want. So you have 2 idler wheels on the back, machinery skates, and then you have the FOXTROT. So they drove the mill through the shop and over and back into the spot that I want it to be. In fact, he drove it in there just a little bit too far. It was like a little too far back, so he needed to bring it back the other way. So, I mean, he just kept working the machinery skate back and forth. Just like if you're parking your car, same thing. And he got that thing lined up. I had some tape marks down on the floor, and I told him, I was like, this isn't super accurate, but this is kind of the general idea of where we would like the mill to sit. He drove it right in line of those little blue tape marks, and it worked perfectly.
And they measured everything, and honestly, I think he respected your need to have things square to the world. So
they understood the assignment.
They did understand
because before I could even say anything, he was like, "We're gonna measure off of this steel girder back here to make sure it's the same, that it's square." And I was like, "I like the way you think, because we need things square to the world, please."
That's right.
So visually, you don't want to walk in and see a machine kind of slightly crooked when everything else is nice and square to each other. So they had it lined up right where it needed to be. I basically approved it. We walked around a few times, and I told him, I was like, I just want to make sure this is right. I'm trying to think this out. How many times you walk behind the machine if you have to, turn it on, you're having to put whey oil in there or work on something. You don't want to be right up against the wall. You need to have room for the electrical cabinet door to open up for the electricians to work on. So once you get it in a position where you feel comfortable and it's going to live, that's the thing, is like once you set it down, it's there.
That's his house.
You don't want to have to pick that thing back up and move it an inch. You want it to be there. So you have to I was actually like, man, is that the right spot? I hope it's the right spot.
We have stood in that shop and talked about the placement of these things so many times. You're thinking about where the toolbox is going to go. How is this going to work with this one next to it? There's a lot of things that we're wanting to get in there, but I think you did great with the.
And for us, I was hoping that we could position it in a way so that we have some kind of either workbench or toolbox between the 2 mills that you use. So when you're working on the TRM, there's a table right next to me that I can set parts on or tools on.
That's right.
Every machine needs to have some kind of work surface that you put your work pieces on, or your toolboxes. So I was trying to keep that in mind as well. Not be too close to the TRM. Give yourself a little bit of working room there.
That lathe, she's beautiful. They're both beautiful, but
yeah, they are.
Just standing there in front of it, I'm like, oh. It's an intimidating looking, beautiful, beautiful machine.
I'll agree to that. I'm looking at the lathe, and it's got these new features built into it. I'm like, I don't even know what to think about that, man.
The parts catcher thing, I can't wait to see how that works. I'm excited.
So let's back up a little bit, though. Kind of jumping ahead on the lathe, but that's okay. That's okay. We're having fun here, right? I'm having a cup of coffee because it's early morning Sunday, and we're just having our discussion because this literally happened Friday.
Yep.
So the mill got set in place. The guys lowered it down. They used their toe jacks to lower it down onto the feet and rough leveled. And that is in a position so that the technician can come in and finish getting the machine hooked up. The electrician can come in, get the wire run to the machine. Technician will come in. He has to finish setting the machine up and getting everything right. So then they moved on to the lathe. And that one took a little bit more effort. There was more things bolted down to the skid that they had to remove. There's all these little brackets, which again goes back into Miltronics. I think it's wonderful seeing how they bracket everything to prevent things from moving during transit. You can't have things flopping around, doors moving, accessories on the skid. You can't have them sliding off. So everything is actually bolted down with all of these little brackets. And so they removed all of those. They got the machine off, no problem. And then they brought that into the shop. Now, I didn't ask them why, but they did not use the Fox Trot to move the lathe into the shop. And I think it had to do simply with the frame of the lathe and the amount of room that they had to work with. They decided as a team, when we pick this lathe up, we're just going to drive it straight into the back of the shop and we're going to set it down. Now, I thought they were going to drive it in, set it down on the Fox Trot, back the forklift out. They got in there. No, they wanted to turn it and they wanted to get it as close as they could, which they did. And everything worked out fine. We had to move some toolboxes and things around, because that was a big forklift. I couldn't even believe that it fit back there.
I don't know how they got it out of there.
I had to leave.
I did too. We both left.
I don't
think neither one of us saw him get it out.
That big forklift was between the new mill that they just unloaded and the American pacemaker lathe. And of course I have the handle sticking out, the quick change toolbox. And when they were getting ready to move, I told one of the crewmen, I was like, hey, will you please watch him and make sure he does not hit the American pacemaker?
Yeah.
Because that would have ruined my day right there.
Yeah, you would have melted. Me too.
They did a great job. They didn't touch anything. They drove that. Before I knew it, I looked, the forklift was coming out of the shop. But so once they set the lathe down, they did set it on the Fox Trot at that point and the idler skates. And they used that to fine tune the lathe on where we wanted it sat. And it worked out fine.
It did.
And then there again, I had it taped out onto the floor, the overall box dimension, like sheet metal dimension. And they put it right where I had it. And I was trying to think everything out. We wanted to have plenty of room behind the lathe because we got like tool cabinets back there. That's a place where you store things out of the way, cabinets and toolboxes and stuff. And then I wanted room on the back side of the lathe, also the through spindle side of the lathe. I want enough room that we can walk back there with a 4 foot long piece of material and feed it through the spindle of the lathe. Plenty of room back there. So we decided this is where it's going to live. And I asked them, okay, just set it in place there. And they did. Again, they pull the blocks out. They set it down on the leveling pads and they get it rough leveled. Put the coolant tank around it. Job done. Worked out great.
It really did.
It was about an 8-hour job. They showed up. They told me we'll be there at 7:30. And
they were.
Yeah, they were.
Mm-hmm.
They were there at 7:30 getting set up. And that's what I mean about it's really great when all the pieces fall into place. The truck arrives. He was there. I think the trucker, he was walking up because a lot of these guys, they're not familiar with the shop. They don't know if they can get out of there.
It's a really tight looking parking lot too, so I don't blame them for checking.
Yeah. So he walked in there to find us and he said, yeah, I got some machines for you. And so it's nice. The crew is there waiting. The truck gets there. Everything is choreographed and works just like it's supposed to. You have a full 8-hour day and then it's done. And heck, we were exhausted ourselves,
I didn't even do anything, and I was tired.
Well, we were trying to capture video
Yeah.
of this to share the move, which we're going to have on the channel.
And it has been absolutely gorgeous here for the last 2 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
and it was really hot, and we had the garage door open, so none of our air conditioners were on. It was blazing in there, so that didn't help.
We're used to the shop being climate control. We have our mini splits, and the shop was wide open. I turned the ACs off, obviously. It turned into a hot box in there. We're not used to it feeling that hot in there because of the air conditioning. So I was glad the next day, we got to come in yesterday, and I had one AC on, and it cooled it back down in there and felt good. But the crew did a fantastic job. So Southway Crane and Rigging, thank you, and they did a great job. Very professional. All the crewmen that showed up, because they had a couple other guys that showed up the week of to inspect the site, inspect the shop, so they could relay the info to the specialty rigging crew, so they could make their plans. And everybody was great.
They were.
So I'd recommend them if anyone has a job that they need, either for a crane or heavy lifting, they can come and they can get it done for you.
They did not stress me out once.
No,
I mean, maybe at the end when the forklift, I didn't want to see it, but
yeah, that was the only thing I was nervous about, was like, are they going to be able to get that forklift out of here? Because you have a brand new mill they just unloaded.
Yeah.
You have a 80-year-old lathe next to it that I don't want to get damaged either, and you have this huge forklift in there. But they're professional. They knew what to do.
In the past, sometimes when we've asked questions, they've given that blank stare. That didn't happen once.
No.
They knew what they were doing, and they were really great communicators. I appreciate that when you've hired someone to do their job and they actually do it well, and they were super nice.
Yeah.
So great experience.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that they are in. They're in.
They're in. They're in the
Woo!
shop. They're
Yeah.
in the shop, and they are ready to be set up. So the technician from Miltronics, I believe it's Derek, that's going to be coming down, and he should be at the shop tomorrow.
Yeah.
And he's going to start getting these machines set up. I'm sure he'll be there a couple of days, because he has 2 machines to set up, and there's quite a bit. It looks like there's quite a bit that you have to finish putting together. So you want to talk about some of the new features on the new machines?
I absolutely do.
All right. So you had mentioned the lathe. We'll just go ahead and get back to that. The new lathe has got some features on it which our ML16 does not have, which we're really excited about. It's all stuff for me to learn and have to figure out as we start doing our work with it. But it has a built-in tool setter, which is exciting, because on the tool room lathe, I was taught, like everyone else is taught, how to get your tool set to the Z and the X position that you need to, which is usually by touching the face and setting your G54 home position. And on your diameter on X, you have to basically turn your workpiece, measure it with a micrometer, make the adjustments on your X dimension so that it lines up on the right diameter that you want. On the new lathe, my understanding is it has a built-in tool setter that flips down, and the tool comes up and touches it, so the machine figures out exactly where the tip of that tool is. And I'm sure you're still going to have to go in there and make some fine-tuning adjustments on the wear, the compensation. If you're a half a thousandth or a thousandth off, you're going to have to adjust it. But having a tool setter in there, I'm hoping that it's going to be like using the Renishaw on the mill, where you're touching the tool off and it knows exactly where it's at. I'm hoping it's kind of on that level. So we're going to get to experience that. The other new feature that it has is, new to us anyway, is a tool catcher on there. That's totally cool. So it looks like it's a basket that kind of flips out, that's going to catch the part whenever you go to like part something off. It's going to catch it in a basket, and the basket drops it in this little bin that you can retrieve on the outside of the machine. It's got this little door that you push back. Boom, there's your part.
I'm sorry, but I cannot wait until we do that. I don't know what it is about it, but just...
I think it's the excitement that we get to experience that.
Yeah.
We get to learn how to do that and how that operates. I know for folks that do this every day, it's nothing. That's just part of the process.
Well, that really feels like production.
But it's something new,
Yeah.
And I keep trying to spread this message that we're trying to expand our knowledge on the work that we do, with manufacturing, with machining. And these are new processes to us that we're trying to learn and implement in our work. Not for the job shop work, not for the repair stuff, not for the manual machining, but manufacturing, making parts and learning how to make lots of the same part efficiently. That's what we want to do. We want to have fun with it, but we want to, use it for the business and make some parts. We have parts that we want to make for our business, and I hope it leads into where we can start taking in some actual production work for others as well, and making parts on the machine. So the tool catcher box was pretty cool, right?
Very.
You know, you open the little door up and it's like, oh look, there's your parts right there. You know, so that's going to be pretty cool. Both of our new Miltronics also come with chip conveyors as well, which is a big step up. The TRM does not have the chip conveyor on there. I think that we need to talk to them about maybe adding that to that machine, which they said you can easily do. So I think we need to invest in a chip auger for the TRM, because I think it's going to help with the unloading of that. So, but the two new machines come with an auger. So as it's machining and it's making chips are going to fall down. The mill has a screw auger, which pushes the chips out, you know, which gets dumped into the bin automatically. And then the lathe actually has a conveyor that moves, which is pretty cool. So as it's machining, all the chips are falling down. This conveyor is moving, and it's rolling these chips right up out and drops it right down into your can.
It's pretty sexy, actually.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So I'm excited for those. You know, those seemingly simple benefits is gonna be really nice to have in the shop. So exciting times indeed. Oh, a couple other benefits of the new lathe as well is that it has a hydraulic operated chuck. It comes with a 3-jaw chuck that's hydraulically operated with a foot pedal. The tailstock is also hydraulically operated with a foot pedal there as well. A little different than I'm used to, because on the ML16, you know, it's a manually operated tailstock. There's nothing automatic about it. You have to slide it, position where you want it. You have to lock it down. You have to crank the quill in with your live center, you know, each time. With the SL8, it's like a fully automatic thing. So I believe you push the foot pedal, and it's going to bring the quill back out of the way to release your center from the part. And the same thing with the chuck. You hit the other foot pedal, it's going to release the material. So a lot of stuff that we get to learn how to implement.
It's so exciting.
New processes, and I'm really excited about that. So some of the new features on the mill, the VM3018, some upgrades from our TRM. First big thing that I'm excited about is through spindle coolant. So the VM3018 is coming. It has come equipped with a high pressure pump, and I believe this is a 300 psi pump. And I've learned that you can get these up to 1,000 psi. I wasn't even aware of that, but the machine comes with a 300 psi high pressure pump. And I will say that this is an option for the machine, and I believe it's an option for any of the mills that you get. If you want through spindle coolant, I believe this is the option that adds to that, is the pump. So we're going to be able to utilize some existing tools that we have that is made for through spindle or through tool coolant. And we're going to be able to invest in more tools that has already been designed for through spindle coolant there. And for anyone that's listening that may not understand what through spindle coolant is, traditionally all of your coolant is sprayed onto the work, onto the rotating cutter, you know, through the nozzles. You've probably seen that. Through spindle coolant is just that. The coolant is coming through the center of the spindle, through the tool, and out the little holes that are designed in the cutters. So it's throwing coolant out right at the, you know, the carbide inserts or the cutting lips of a drill bit or an end mill, you know, has these little holes through there. So it's going to throw the coolant out right at the source where it's doing the cutting there. So it does a really, really nice, efficient job, especially when you're drilling holes. It's high pressure through spindle coolant works really well for drilling. If you have a lot of hole making operations to do, the coolant is going to blast the chips out of the hole. So you don't have to, it speeds up productivity and a lot of times because you're not having to do the chip clearing operations where the drill's coming out to clear the chips. The coolant pressure itself is blasting all the chips out, so you can just drill a hole all the way through a workpiece without having to stop. So that's pretty cool.
Very cool.
Yeah. And then the some of the other options that we have for the VM3018 is the VM comes with a side tool changer, and we're also going from 16 tools in the TRM to 24 tools. So the
That's
VM,
amazing difference. Yeah.
Yep. And, just going through our drill index, I have figured out that the importance of being able to hold more than 16 tools, because, I started out having tons of drills in there that we had to use to machine our part. So the more tool pockets you have, obviously the more tools you can hold, which is a great benefit, And 24 tools is a really nice step up for us. It's going to be really nice to have that. It also is equipped with the swing arm tool changer. So we're talking about like 1 second tool changes. So it speeds up productivity,
It's unbelievable.
I'm excited.
1 second.
1 second tool changes. I believe you can actually adjust it so that it's like less than a second. So these things, when you have them running in full production mode, you have everything optimized, these tool changes happen just so fast, so quickly. The blink of an eye, boom, your tool has changed and it's on to the next process. Pretty cool. So that's some of the upgrades we have, and then the other big upgrade to the VM is going to be the controller itself. The machine comes with the new Inspire controller, which is Miltronics' new software, their new controller. So it's got some added benefits in there as well. They've improved a lot of things. The graphics are upgraded, and they said that this controller is gonna give you more control over your machining programs. It's going to provide better finishes as well. So we have the new Inspire software that we get to learn how to operate on the machine.
It's so exciting. You love this, don't you?
I do.
It's
I
so
really
cool
do.
to learn something new, especially in something that you've done for so long. And
Absolutely. Yep. And I'm excited to get the machine set up. We're going to. I'm excited to see some more production work when we work on our drill indexes. I'd like to eventually have where we have both of our Miltronics mills running, making the drill index. I've envisioned Op 1 on one machine, Op 2 on the other machine, and just keep those machines making parts. But, not just our drill indexes too. I want to see some other production work on these machines as well, some customer parts, and just continue this learning journey into manufacturing and seeing what we can create. It's awesome.
it is awesome.
So it's been a really great week, seeing our new machines get delivered, and everything went just like it should. And hopefully within another week, both of them are going to be up and running and ready to go. And Steve from Miltronics, he will be coming down pretty soon. And he'll probably spend 2 days with me, and he's going to go over the new Inspire controller and teach me how to use that. And then also the lathe, we have a brand new style lathe with the SL8, and he's going to give me the proper teachings I need to be able to operate that lathe, at least get started with it anyway, because I'm sure I'll be on the phone with him every time I go over there and fire it up. Like, hey, Steve, I can't
What'd you
figure
say
out.
about this again?
Yeah, what'd you say I need to do? But Steve will give me some training, and hopefully I'll be able to get a good jump start on operating those two machines as well.
I'm so happy. I'm glad that they're in.
Yeah, it was kind of like a sigh of relief that this is we finally have them. They're in the shop. Everything is good,
Yeah.
and now it's on to the next phase.
Yes.
Yep.
The best part of it.
Yep.
So I think the other thing that we wanted to cover was let's go ahead and give our update on the drill index.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we have some good updates on that as well. We did get our test samples back from the anodizer that we are working with now. We literally just got them in our hands yesterday.
Yes.
Yep. And we're real happy with the results.
Yeah.
We really are. And we can't wait to share them with everyone. So we went ahead and had some of them clear coated, just straight clear coat, no media blasting. And then we wanted to try a few colors too. So we wanted to try red, olive drab green, I believe it's called, and then purple.
That one's from me.
Yeah, but
And it's gorgeous.
the purple, it surprised me.
You like it, don't you?
It surprised me. It's a really nice looking purple.
Yeah.
And it stands out. It's different. But what we wanted to try was non-media blasted, so no etching, straight anodized with the color on it, and then some with the media blasted finish, and then anodized. And I think Abby and I both have decided that we really like the look of the anodized color without it being media blasted.
Okay, so explain the difference, because visually they can see it, but if they're not watching.
Right. So when a lot of parts are media blasted, and what that is doing is etching the surface. You're creating a uniform finish across the entire surface of the part. So you're eliminating the tool marks. So, our parts, obviously, when they come off the mill, any part, you can see the tool marks made from the cutters, right? And that's not a bad thing, because machining is actually a beautiful thing whenever you see the tool marks. But in a lot of industries, a lot of parts, you don't necessarily want to see the machining marks on there. You want it to look like a uniform finish on there. So one of the things you can have done is have the media blasted. It's basically sandblasted. Most cases, they're probably using glass beads in some kind of automated blasting cabinet. And so that etches the entire surface, removes the machining marks, and makes it look a little bit more matte, if you will.
Yes.
A matte finish. We wanted to try it without that as well. And the outcome was beautiful. I really like it.
I do too.
I really like it. So with the ones that were not media blasted, you still can see the tool marks from the machine on there, all the end mills, that did their work. But you have that really gorgeous color on there, because the color is actually a see-through color. It's not a solid color. So the red, it has a red color on it, obviously, but when you look at it, you can still see all the milling marks on it.
And it is more gloss.
It is. That
than
was
matte.
That was the other big difference that we noticed, is that if you just anodize them without the media blasting, it's a lot more glossy looking. With the media blasted, it looks more matte. And I think that we both agree that the look of the non-blasted looks better to me. I think it
just
does.
looks so cool. I like seeing the machine marks, so I'm glad, the tool marks, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So I'm glad we got both, though, to be able to test.
Yeah, absolutely. So I believe we are going to be making some executive decisions on the red and the green, at least to start with, non-media blasted.
The green, totally cool. And the red, it's beautiful and bright. It was brighter than our original sample, which was gorgeous as well. But this one, I really like the shade of the red.
Yeah.
It's just very bright and pretty.
I do too. So, those are two colors that Abby and I both settled on. And I'm glad that we tried it, because we were real happy with the outcome and the way that these samples look. And so that's what we're going to do. The next phase from right here, and I've already started working on this, is that we're going to get all of the rest of the drill indexes packaged up, boxed up, crated, and sent up to the anodizer to get done. We wanted to wait until we got the samples back to make sure that this was the process that we were going to go with. In fact, one of the fellas there, we talked about adding a feature to the bottom of the drill index that's going to allow them to better clamp it for their rack. They have to hold these things in order to drop it into the tank. And so I believe we're going to add some kind of little feature on the inside, on the bottom of the drill index, just for clamping purposes. But we're not going to worry about that for this batch. That's going to be going forward anymore. So we'll have to add one more little, tool path in there to cut, so that their clamps can get in there and grab onto it and hold it. But we're going to work on getting them boxed up this week. Hopefully in the next day or two, we'll have them all boxed up. We're going to get them up there. And hopefully within a couple weeks, maybe we'll have them back, and they will be ready to put on the website and put them up for sale.
I can't wait for that. I can't wait for them to get in their hands. I'm just really excited.
We are too. We're excited to see what others think about it. We've had a lot of really great positive support from everyone out there. Abby's been getting a lot of messages on the website, people showing interest. Comment section, people seem to have interest. I think overall, there's a lot of people excited, and we are too, because this is our first product, and we want it to be something that people enjoy and something that people enjoy having. As I said previously, I love the old school drill indexes. I think they're a wonderful tool. I personally, this is just the way that I am, I like having the drills displayed on top of the toolbox or your workbench or whatever. It may not be for everyone. Some people may want to fold them up in that little sheet metal case and put them in a drawer. Nothing wrong with that. That's how we've done it for years. But I really like being able to display the drills. And whenever I'm using a set of drills, I like having them right there on top of the toolbox so I can reach over and grab the tool that I want. So, again, hopefully in a few weeks, maybe we're going to have these guys ready to put on the website, and Abby's going to be sure to let everyone know whenever that time comes. We want to try to give a good heads up so people are aware. It's not going to be a top secret thing.
No.
We want everybody to have a fair chance to buy one if they choose to. I don't want people feeling like, well, I didn't know that it was announced, and why didn't you tell us? So we're going to let everyone know.
And the giveaways.
And
You're
the giveaways.
going to know. We're definitely going to announce that.
We're going to start with some giveaways. I believe I want to do a giveaway before we actually put them up for sale, and so we're going to be working on that pretty soon too. We want to promote that, and so, do you know how you're going to organize a giveaway? Are you going to have something on the website?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It'll go out an email blast. They can sign up for text messages. That's going to be coming if they want that.
Yeah.
And then we'll put it on all the socials.
Okay, good deal. So keep your eyes and ears open for that. Abby's going to announce a nice giveaway. That's going to be one of our drill indexes with a full set of brand new drill bits from Chicago Latrobe or Cleveland, a set of drills inside that drill index.
That's right.
Yeah, pretty cool. So lots of good stuff happening. It's been a really great week.
It has been.
A lot of productivity. Our new machines are in. Our drill indexes are making progress. And we're excited. We're ready to just keep it going.
We really are.
Yep. Well, I think that's going to wrap up what we wanted to talk about this
Agreed.
week on the podcast. And it's been a nice Sunday morning, enjoying my cup of coffee and talking about the shop.
A full video will be coming out on the new machines coming in, so check the YouTube channel for that. And as always, Abom79 Booth Machine Shop and the Abom Podcast T-shirts are available on abom79.com.
And I believe you're getting ready to add another T-shirt to the site.
I am. We had a request for the Monarch, and I kept meaning the Monarch T-shirt. I kept meaning to get it up. Girl, I'm putting it up there for you. I will definitely do that. And I have a lot of things. I just haven't gotten to everything. Again, I need like 4 of me.
Well, that's okay. You keep doing your thing. We've got some of our older T-shirt designs. They're not all on the site, obviously, but Abby is working to try to get these different shirt designs added to the site.
And we are going to have a brand new merch page coming.
Okay.
So it's going to be fancier than what was there before. So,
oh, nice.
Yeah.
I like fancy.
I do too. I wasn't happy with how unfancy it was. I tried it and it looks fine, but
well, I'm looking
I
forward
want
to seeing
fancy.
it. Yeah, this is all stuff that Abby works on. I don't do anything with the website.
I don't even ask him anymore. I just do it.
She'll show it to me and say, "What do you think about this?" I'm like,
does this suck?
It looks great. Send it. It looks great, But she's worked really hard at designing the website, and hopefully it's going to be set up so that we can, work with our audience as we have either merchandise or products to sell on there.
We're going to make it as easy as it can be for everybody.
Yeah. And so, by the way, if you like the Booth Machine Shop hat, you can get that on the merch page as well. I love this hat. It fits good. This is one of the Flex Fit style hats, and I love wearing it.
The dad hat didn't fit me. I ordered one, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to put this on here. And it was way too big for me, and I'm sure it will fit everyone else. So I need to just put it up there. But I was trying not to use anything that I didn't personally love.
Right.
So I'm still working on that.
Okay. Well, this one's worked out pretty good.
I'm glad.
So pick you up a hat or a T-shirt, and we certainly appreciate the support from everyone that has been buying a T-shirt lately.
Yes. Thank you very much. We love you all.
Absolutely. Well, we hope you enjoyed this week's episode, and we hope you come back and join us again for the next episode. We'll see you then.